Everyone, it is after 6 o'clock. Thank everyone for joining us here for this council meeting. And let me tap the gavel. The legislative 6 will now come to order. Let's please pause for a moment of silence. And thank you so much. And during this time, we usually have a member of the council lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, but we have a distinguished group of women that are here today, and I'd like to ask Sabrina Jones and the members of the Commission for Women to come forward and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all so much, and thank you all for attending this evening's meeting. Okay, is there a motion to approve the journal for the meeting of March 4th, 2024?
So moved. I'll second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Okay, journal is approved. Let's enroll the bills. Bills 4-24 and 525 were passed by the council, signed by the county executive, and are hereby enrolled. The executive veto of Bill 124 was overridden by the council and is also enrolled. Mr. Secretary, will you now read all bills for introduction, please?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. There are two bills for introduction this evening. First is Bill 14-24, sponsored by Councilman Ertel, zoning regulations, uses permitted CB zone fraternal organizations, and Bill 15-24, sponsored by Councilman Marks, zoning regulations, out-of-water storage facilities.
Thank you. Mr. Secretary, Mr. Secretary, please read the first item on.
Yes, sir. First item for final reading and vote this evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the council, is Bill 6-24, sponsored by, or at the request of the administration, Maryland Model Floodplain Ordinance conforming legislation. And I believe Mr. Gutwald is here to testify.
Thank you, Mr. Gutwald. It's good to see you, Mr. Gutwald.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the County Council. Bill 6-24 brings Baltimore County into alignment with the Maryland Department of Environment's floodplain model ordinance while maintaining the higher standard of floodplain protection that has been the hallmark of the program since the county has implemented the tidal and non-tidal waters of the state. I'll highlight some of the amendments to the floodplain ordinance. Basically, it generally reorganizes and consolidates a number of different sections and titles of the county code and the building code into one location. Right now, it's kind of bifurcated into a couple of different documents. We do now use the terminology variances instead of waivers for any modifications to it, and there is a standard set of criteria for that. One of the biggest differences in a lot of this model ordinance is that the maps have a more regulatory authority. Before they were always there was always this requirement to do a flood study, even if you had base flood elevation. Now we have a number of different areas with the floodplain elevation. If you remember, we adopted the new maps in October of 23. The setback has been, a new flood protection setback has been provided to allow for more alternatives without having to complete a flood study, but we've extended and increased those setbacks if there is no BFE provided. We have limitations on accessory structures. Before it was limited to 900 square feet. Now it's 300 square feet with the possibility of a variance up to 600 square feet as per the model ordinance required. And then as I mentioned earlier, the regulations now include criteria for variances such as you can't increase the flood height if you're going to do anything in the flood area or floodplain. Areas where we have not changed, but we were, we've rolled into the model ordinance that currently FEMA only regulates floodplains that drain 1 square mile. The county goes down to 30 acres, and we regulate anything that drains more than 30 acres. We also require, when you do a flood study, they have to base it on the ultimate land use, not just the existing land use. So if something's actually zoned to DR35 but is not is vacant, they have to assume that it's built out at a DR35 density. And then, of course, in our building code, we do cumulative improvements. So you come in and in order to bring it into the floodplain, we look at each and every improvement that has been occurred over a span of time, not just the individual improvement. That's my presentation. Take any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Gutwald. I know during the work session, we had a thrilling set of questions from the councilman from the 3rd District, and just ask the councilman if he had any additional questions that go beyond the dialogue that occurred at the last work session.
About 2 hours worth of questions, okay. I do have an amendment to the bill, though.
Okay.
As do we, so okay.
Okay, Mr. Secretary, are there any amendments?
There are, Mr. Chairman and members of the council, there is an amendment that is offered by the administration. This amendment would define the term repetitive loss, and it would define it as flood-related damage sustained by a structure on 2 separate occasions during a 10-year period for which the cost of repairs at the time of each such flood event on the average equals or exceeds 25% of the market value of the structure before the damage occurred.
Thank you. Any discussion on the amendment?
Yes.
Do we have a motion?
No, can you repeat the amendment?
Yes. The amendment would define the term, repetitive loss, and it would define it as flood-related damage sustained by a structure on 2 separate occasions during a 10-month period for which the cost of repairs at the time of each such flood event on the average equals or exceeds 25% of the market value of the structure before the damage occurred.
I have a question.
Okay, Councilman Jones.
Yeah, so I'm sitting here trying to do the math in my head, and I'm just thinking to myself, 25%, isn't that a high bar? 2 times in 10 months at 25%.
So we just, first of all, this definition exists currently. We just omitted it with the draft. But this is to help individuals out with when there's repetitive loss. So this, if there is that much loss in a structure, that opens up opportunities for them to go after with FEMA and insurance to repair the facility or move it. So that's the idea of the definition. That it's usually dealing with substantial damage. Not if you flood out your basement, that doesn't really count. But if there was serious damage and then it happens again, it opens up. The definition allows you to go after insurance or go after FEMA grants to either remove the structure, lift it, flood-proof it, do whatever.
And is that the same criteria that was used in the past?
Yes.
When we purchased properties?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, are there any other questions, thoughts, comments for Mr. Gutwald? Okay, hearing none, do we have a motion on the amendment?
So move.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Secretary.
Mr. Patoka?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Mr. Marks? Aye. Mr. Ertel?
Aye.
Mr. Young?
Aye.
Okay, the amendment passes. Let's go back to the original bill. Any discussion, any further discussion?
Yeah, there's one additional amendment. I'm sorry, Mr.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Chairman. Mr. Catch, as a follow-up to the discussion at the work session, Mr. Catch is offering an amendment that would define the term climate change that is referenced in the bill. The definition would be as follows: a long-term change in average weather patterns that is observable through the simultaneous rise of global average temperatures, sea levels, extreme rainfall events, nuisance flooding, and erosion the causes of which can be natural, such as changes in the sun's activity, variations in the Earth's orbit, or large volcanic eruptions. And since the 1800s, have also been driven by human activities, including the burning of fossil fuels like coal, oil, and gas.
Okay, thank you. Any comments, questions, or thoughts on the amendment?
Mr. Chairman,
Oh, go ahead, Councilman Catch.
that last part I removed.
Oh, okay. Then it would be
Just basically human activities.
human activities, period.
We got Councilman Marks and then Councilman Jones.
Was this definition developed after consulting with any scientific experts or national or international organizations? Out of curiosity.
We looked at the state definition of that term.
Okay.
I'm just going to jump in because I have a similar question.
Department of the Environment, I'm sorry. With Maryland Department of the Environment or
I'm sorry?
Maryland Department of the Environment or just?
Because it's not defined in the bill.
I'm sorry.
Another question related.
It's going to change.
It was partially from the Department of Environment. We knew the definition that they use, and we borrowed from it and put it together based on definitions that we were able to find.
Okay, thank you.
Councilman Jones, I'm going to come right to you, but I have a related question on this. Is this a term, Councilman Catch, and maybe to the Secretary, that is recognized by the insurance industry? And I'll share why I'm concerned about that.
Right. I don't know the answer to that, Mr. Chairman.
My concern is sometimes the insurance industry will attach itself to a certain term, and that may, and no offense to anyone that might be in that industry, but it may cause the review to be different than the insured might like it to be. And I just want to be careful that we don't over-label something that it could be harmful to a claim or to someone's insurance policy.
May I ask a question of Councilman Ertel?
Councilman Catch.
Word climate change be an insurance policy?
Oh, dude.
I don't know that it necessarily would, but I guess the question, and maybe others are thinking this, but what was your reasoning for putting this amendment into the?
Well, my reasoning is that I, throughout my legislative career, have been through the big freeze, global warming. Now we're in climate change. And I just think that in order to make it perfectly clear as to what we're talking about, when we say climate change, that we have a definition. That's basically it. I just feel more comfortable knowing exactly what we're talking about. And, in the future, things may change, and we might need, they might not even have climate change, they may have climate whatever, and that'll be a different definition and more things added to it. I just think that it's good to know what it is we're talking about when we talk about climate change. And if it's, it's in the state law. And so as now, the state has scientists that work for legislative services. And so any definition like this would come from people that are highly qualified to do this. And that's one of the big advantages of legislative services, in that they have experts in really every area. And so this definition from the state is really, would be the up-to-date, accurate description. And as you listen to it, you think, well, yeah, that's what it is. That's what this is all about. So that's why I'd like to have the definition in there. I don't think it really causes any harm at all. I just think that it is something that, if you're going to mention a term like that, what does it mean? And now we know what it means. Now, if you want to say including but not limited to, that's fine, because that would mean that it could include more, but you're just not,
I'd be a little more comfortable with that.
You know that term. Yeah, I mean, included but not limited to. You can have that in it.
That way you don't have some unintended
Right,
consequences.
right. I mean, that means there are other things that can cause it.
Do we have the ability to, on the fly, modify that? Sure. The amendment?
Sure.
Is there a motion on
There
that?
hasn't been a motion or a second, so
I'll move the amendment,
I'll second it,
verbal amendment. Yeah.
including but
Councilman Young?
Sorry, you're asking to amend the amendment, though.
Right.
Correct.
Right. So if you're open to that, you don't need to, no, just ask to amend the, what do you
Okay.
want to amend?
The amendment.
He's adding a few words to it.
He is, I'm sorry, I thought you got it, understood.
Okay. So I think we have a few words added. Mr.
So I could-
Secretary, would you repeat those words in the context of the sentence?
I will. So the definition of climate change would be as follows: a long-term change in average weather patterns that is observable through the simultaneous rise of, including but not limited to, global average temperatures, sea levels, extreme rainfall events, nuisance flooding and erosion, the causes of which can be natural, such as including but not limited to changes in the sun's activity, variations in the Earth's orbit, or large volcanic eruptions, and since the 1800s have also been driven by human activities.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on that. Any comment? Councilman Jones?
did you mention, or are we going to add it later, not limited to?
I believe I did.
I think
Oh,
you did. Yeah, you
okay,
did. Yeah.
okay.
And that does the trick, you can.
Okay, we have a motion and we have a second. Mr. Secretary, call the roll, please, on the amendment.
Mr. Patoka?
Aye.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Marks? Mr. Ertel? Mr. Young?
No.
Okay, thank you. And now we're back to the bill. I think we've covered two. Okay. We have we're now on the bill.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
As amended, yes, sir.
Any further discussion on the bill itself? Okay, do we have a motion on the bill?
Favorable.
Okay,
I'll second it.
we have a motion and a second. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Patoka?
Aye.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Young?
Aye.
Mr. Marks? Mr. Ertel?
Aye.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Councilman Catch.
I want to thank the council, but I also want to, I guess, apologize because we have adopted rules that they go into effect when? April 1 or something?
Yes.
April 1, that, where people who have amendments are to submit them by, what was it?
At 10 a.m. before the meeting.
Right, so
Day of the meeting.
today by 10 a.m. And I apologize for not doing that. I certainly wasn't done on purpose, but I really apologize to everyone because, for openness and transparency in government, you do need to give the public and the members of the council notice ahead of time. You know, in the future, I will follow it. And of course, being a council member and former delegate, nothing is ever my fault. So I'm going to blame it on Mr. Bostwick, yes. And you know, all joking aside, I really do apologize because.
Thank you, Councilman Jones.
I don't think this is meaningful amendment, just a definition.
Yeah, well, but nevertheless,
Secretary, right?
yeah.
Well, the question would be, is it a technical amendment? Does it really substantively change the bill? I think it could be, it's maybe arguable. I mean, it is a definition, so I guess one could say that that adds something substantive, but in the overall scheme of things, it is rather technical and minor. So I guess reasoning minds could differ. And to your point, Mr. Katch, I should have been more in tune with communicating with you and determining, you know, the substance of this.
Because I tell you, with Councilman Young and all the work that he's gone through to come up with ways to make our system more open and transparent, I am very pleased with what he's done, and certainly intend to follow it. And it wasn't until later today that I thought, oh my gosh, I should have really submitted this to everybody earlier. So, you know, but it won't happen again.
Thank you, Councilman Katch, for saying that. And I just think we are moving, this is, I think the discussion we just had speaks to the thoughtfulness of this council, that I don't think there was any malicious intent at all in the amendments. I think it's just, this is a very thoughtful group. And as we do work towards transparency and we're going to move that needle in the right direction, I think there'll be a few growing pains, but at the end of the day, you're going to see a level of openness that you haven't seen in the past from the Baltimore County Council. So thanks again, Councilman Katch. Thanks to all of my colleagues on the DS right this evening. And thank you, Director Gottwald. Yes.
I was wondering.
Before we move to the next item, I want to take a moment. Oh, have we not voted on the bill yet? We did. We did, Councilman Katch.
Yes, sir.
We did. Okay. So before we move on to the next item, I'm going to take a moment of personal privilege and welcome a new member to the press corps here to the Baltimore County Council, Rona Coble. Welcome, covering the Baltimore Banner. You're a new employee with the Baltimore Banner. Is that correct?
Today is my first day.
Oh, well, bravo. Congratulations. Sure. And Mr. Secretary, can I plug a film that Rona did, or is that inappropriate?
Sorry?
A film that she did that Justin and I?
Sure.
Rona, could you tell the council about the film that you did? Come on.
Before I was at the Banner, I made a film called Moving History.
Rona, could you come up and speak to us here?
Oh my goodness, really?
I think she's a constituent of your constituent.
Rona is a resident of the strong
Scenic.
Yes. So Mr. Ortel is my councilman, and I guess my neighbor too. Far, kind of a long walk over there, but yeah. So I made a film with two of my colleagues called Eroding History, and it's about the intersection of climate change and historic racism on Maryland's Eastern Shore. And it basically focuses on two Black communities that are losing their land and their history and their culture, and what to do about it. We made this film, I guess it premiered a year ago at the Senator, and since then we've had 32 screenings of it, one of which Councilman Patoka was at. We've been screening it all over. I was in Maine and we screened it there. we've screened in, I think, 7 states now in DC, and it's going to be on Maryland Public Television in April for Bay Week, so you can see it there. And it will also be on PBS if you have the Passport app, so you can watch it there, and it'll be streaming on PBS. So I know Baltimore County is having some of the same issues that the Eastern Shore is, obviously not to the extent, but I'm hoping to cover some of the stories that are similar here. It's a very historic film. It talks about the history of the area, and that's one of my interests here too. So I was totally not expecting to
thank you, Rhona.
address the council, but it is a really good film. We won a bunch of awards.
Rhona, could you just mention the name of the film?
Oh, it's called Eroding History.
Okay.
And it was based on my master's thesis at Maryland, so.
Could you repeat the title one more time, Rhona?
Eroding History.
Eroding History, thank you. Thank you so much, Rhona. And I apologize to everyone for going off script here, but I thought with the Commission for Women here and Rhona here, it's a good time to discuss something that it'd really be helpful to all of us to understand a little better. Sorry, Sabrina, if I deviated in any way. Okay, and we're going to keep this in the family because we're going to go to Councilman Jones next for Bill 824.
Bill 824, sponsored by Councilman Jones, zoning regulations, multifamily 2/2 condominium townhome units.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Secretary. This bill, Bill 8-24, really deals with a 2/2 planned development for the area of Liberty Road and Owings Mills Boulevard. This is property has been approved for a 2 apartment high rises. That would have been the 3rd one beside the other property that's there now. And, in working with the developer, I thought it was that the need for Baltimore County was more affordable housing as opposed to 2 apartment high rises. And he was gracious enough to agree. That said, we produced this bill that would allow these 2/2 condominium type townhomes to be built there. If everybody don't know what we're talking about basically sort of like a townhouse. And then you would have the 1st and the 2nd floor be one family, including a garage, so that unit will be smaller. And then the 3rd and the 4th floor would be another family. And it's basically a condominium, basically, because both of them would own that one unit. There was a number of concerns that we worked out with the administration. We were floating around some amendments and having conversations and discussions throughout the day, starting early this morning, that the administration is on board and decided to not move forward with the proposed amendments, because they were never really amendments until we introduced them. So that's where we are, and I would ask all of my colleagues to vote favorable for this bill.
Thank you. Do we have any questions, comments? Councilman Young.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And Councilman, thanks for the conversation related to the bill earlier today. Wanted to give you, because it was helpful for me, you were also explaining that we've seen these kinds of things before, and in discussion, this is sort of the only avenue to get this accomplished, right, as it currently stands in the manual?
Well, right now, I think the issue is, as I understand it, the administration is going to be updating the manual. Right now, this is the 3rd time that we built this type of product in Baltimore County. So the current manual does not sort of conform to this type of development, this type of product. So that's going to be fixed. You could, one way to try to fix it is to ask for a blanket, sort of like blanket.
Variance.
Yes. I'm having a
Blanket variance.
blanket variances, like I seen I was talking about a development earlier, they had like 300 and some variances. So instead of doing that until the regulations get caught up, we fix it with this type of legislation.
I appreciate it. It was it was an important piece from the conversation earlier. Wanted to make sure we put it on record too. Thank you.
Sure. All right, thank you.
Okay,
And, no, on that note, I'll move the bill.
okay, just any other questions, comments? Okay, we have a motion and a second. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Patoka?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Young?
Aye.
Mr. Ertel?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Okay, it passes. Okay. Now we're going to move on to fiscal matters. And the first item we have is,
The fiscal matters, Mr. Chairman and members of the council, are as follows. We have 7 fiscal matters on the agenda this evening. First is 4 contracts for on-call tree trimming, tree removal, and stump removal services. Fiscal matter 2 is amendment number 4 to a contract for food services at the detention center. Fiscal matter 3 is a contract with Redgate Real Estate Advisors, LLC. Fiscal matter 4 is an amendment number 3 to the contract with Manufacturers and Traders Trust Company doing business as M&T Bank. Fiscal matter 5 is a contract with Recovery Innovations Incorporated doing business as RI International. Fiscal matter 6 is a contract with Shelter Savvy. And fiscal matter 7 is 3 contracts for the rental of roll-off containers.
okay, thank you, Mr. Secretary. Any comments, questions, or thoughts on the fiscal matters?
Motion to approve. I'll second it.
And a second. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Patoka?
Aye.
Mr. Ertel?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Mr. Young?
Aye.
Okay. We will now consider miscellaneous business items. Mr. Secretary, first item.
Mr. Chairman and members of the council, whenever a contract over $25,000 is awarded by a process other than formal competitive bid, it is required that a copy of the contract be given to the county council and the nature and parties to the contract be announced by the secretary at the next legislative session following award. There are 11 such agreements this evening. The first is a purchase order with Aramark Services Incorporated. This is for the purchase of preparing and delivery of specialized meals through Aramark. Award total of $36,400. Next is a purchase order with Leeds Precision Instruments Incorporated for the purchase of 3 Leeds digital microscope cameras and software for the Firearms and Toolmark Identification Unit in Forensics. The police department, the award total is $31,536. Next is a purchase order with Cooks Direct Incorporated for the purchase of a commercial mixer for the detention center in their kitchen. This is a large industrial mixer, award total of $44,816.93. Next is a purchase order with Altalex LLC for the purchase of pre-constructed weatherproof enclosures to house portable observation device camera networking components. Award total of $31,467.20. Next is a purchase order with Facility Solutions Group Incorporated for the purchase of LED lighting retrofits as at multiple sites throughout the county to support BGE Small Business Energy Solutions Program. Award total of $142,771.23. Next is a supplier contract with EMS Technologies LLC for the purchase of maintenance and automatic logic systems at the Woodlawn Police Precinct. 5-year estimated award total of $54,748. Next is a supplier contract with International Chemstar Incorporated for the purchase of Myox system maintenance for the Eastern Family Resource Center. 5-year estimated award total of $96,545.16. Next is a supplier contract with Crisscross Incorporated. This contract is for the purchase of residential data dedicated to phone numbers and reverse lookups for public safety purposes for the state of Maryland. That is updated on a quarterly basis. Estimated 3-year award total of $90,000. Next is a supplier contract with Nortesu American Corporation to purchase extended maintenance for specialized photo processors manufactured and serviced by the company, Forensic Equipment, for the police department, 3-year estimated award total of $51,500. Next is a supplier contract with Franklin Miller Incorporated for the purchase of Taskmaster influent grinders and parts, which is utilized by the county in the 7 sewage pumping stations, as well as the detention center, 5-year estimated award total of $250,000. And finally, a supplier contract with Kaiser Compressors Incorporated for the purchase of technical services, to include labor, travel and mileage, OEM software, and parts. This company is the only local vendor in the county for these items, and this is a sole source through DPW&T, 4-year estimated award total $63,000. And I know we had a few tonight, but we hadn't had any for a while, so we were probably due.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Secretary. That was certainly an action-packed list of items.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now we're going to move to Resolution 924. This is sponsored by Councilman David Marks.
Yes, sir. Resolution 924 is entitled DPW&T Request for Traffic Signal Installation, Villages of White Marsh PUD.
Okay, Councilman Marks.
Thank you very much. As I related at the work session in 2016, I sponsored legislation to allow for the villages of White Marsh Plan Unit Development to proceed through the review process. The resolution will reduce the allowable density by 40% and require the donation of a 20-acre parcel to Baltimore County, along with $100,000 to be used for the installation of a traffic signal. A substantial part of this residential project has now been finished, but the Department of Public Works and Transportation has not yet installed the light, even though traffic has greatly increased in this area. My contention is that the county needs to plan for the future opening of Nottingham Middle School and also recognize that there's already heavy traffic in this area. I do not want us to be caught off guard when that middle school opens. I believe we should act expeditiously to install this light. I know we normally do not consider resolutions like this, but we did pass the resolution that allowed for this development to be reviewed, and therefore I think it's appropriate for us to weigh in at this time.
Thank you, Councilman Marks. Any comments, questions, or thoughts anyone would like to share with Councilman Marks? Okay. Do we have a motion?
I'll move it.
I'll second. Mr. Secretary, please take the vote, the call, roll call.
Mr. Patoka?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mr. Ertel?
Aye.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Mr. Young?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Thank you all very much.
Okay, the resolution passes. Mr. Secretary, next item, please.
Next, Mr. Chairman, is Resolution 10-24. This resolution is sponsored by the entire council and would adopt the Baltimore County Pedestrian and Bicycle Master Plan for introduction only this evening.
Thank you. Next item, please, Mr. Secretary.
Next is Resolution 11-24, support of repayable loan, Maryland Department of Commerce, Maryland Economic Assistance Fund, Rocket Lab USA Incorporated. This is also for introduction only this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Next item, please.
Next is Resolution 12-24, payment in lieu of property taxes or pilot, MCB Boulevard LLC, 7935 Bell Ridge Road, for introduction only this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Next item, please.
Next is Resolution 13-24, payment in lieu of property taxes pilot, MCB Springs LLC, 53 Bayberry Road, for introduction only this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Next item, please.
And finally, Mr. Chairman and members of the council, Resolution 14-24, payment in lieu of property taxes or pilot, MCB Beacon LLC, 2810 Nathaniel Way, also for introduction only this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Is there any other business that come before the council this evening?
There is no further business, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, is there a motion to,
Point of privilege, if I could.
absolutely, Councilman Young.
I'd like to introduce Declan Watkins as my new intern. A couple weeks ago, we sent off DM, and now Declan has one of the new folks that we brought onto the office will be around for a bit. So welcome.
Congratulations, Declan.
He is currently studying at Goucher College.
Okay, excellent.
Far off.
Okay, as is customary, anyone who's, oh, we didn't take the vote on adjournment. Is there a motion to adjourn? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're adjourned. Hang on. Okay. As is customary, anyone who is registered to speak and signed up prior to the meeting is allowed 3 minutes to speak. Ms. Belcastro, are there any speakers signed in this evening?
Only our guests this evening, the Commission for Women. We have Ms. Kara, that's it, Kara Beverly and Sabrina Jones are here. on the
Okay, Ms.
Commission for Women.
Beverly. Yes, thank you.
Miss Beverly is also from the scenic and strong 6th District.
Okay.
Indeed, indeed. I represent. Good evening, Councilman, and happy Women's History Month. My name is Kara D. Beverly, and I serve as the parliamentarian of the Baltimore County Commission for Women and co-chair of the Public Policy Committee. I'm pleased to bring you greetings on behalf of our president, Sabrina Jones, Commissioner Amy Blank, who's the co-chair of the Commission's Public Policy Committee in her absence, and all of the members of the Baltimore County Commission for Women here today and watching online. For those who are here, could you please stand and be recognized? The Commission for Women was established in January 1977, and so that's 47 years of advocating for women and families in Baltimore County and ensuring that they have access to and are aware of available resources. And with it being Women's History Month, we thought it would be fitting for us to engage with the council, and we had an opportunity to speak with most of you earlier today. So you've heard much about many of our initiatives, such as our Women of the Year Award, where we honor women leaders, entrepreneurs, and students making a difference in the community, our work with reentering citizens, and our domestic violence efforts. Our Public Policy Committee, though, has also been very active in recent years as we work to fulfill our mission of serving as an advocate for women's issues. We actively support MLAW, the Maryland Legislative Agenda for Women. Some of our recent successes on the state level have been the provision of menstrual hygiene products in public schools and the repeal of marriage as a defense to rape and other sex crimes. We recently spearheaded the initiative of creating a family justice center in Baltimore County, where those impacted by domestic and interpersonal violence can find all of the resources they need under one roof. The county executive has organized a task force to evaluate the logistics and coordination of resources for that effort, and we're very proud of that. The commission has also taken up the issue of human trafficking, partnering with our state representatives to support legislation related to training those in the transportation sector to identify the signs of human trafficking. Specifically, we are supporting House Bill 148, the See Someone, Save Someone Act. Due to Baltimore County's position as a major transportation hub in this region, the county had the second highest incidences of reported human trafficking in the state. The Baltimore County Commission for Women is the lead organization supporting Delegate Ebersol, the sponsor of HB 148, and we're proud that it recently passed the House unanimously and is now being considered by the Senate. And we are optimistic about this state bill successfully making it through session, and we look forward to further discussions with all of you on how the county can continue to combat this issue. But in closing, we want you to know that this County Commission for Women is comprised of members who are passionate and informed, who bring their professional expertise and personal experiences to this important work, and are ardent advocates for women and families in our communities. It's our desire to work with you more closely as we work to meet the needs and improve the lives of women in Baltimore County. And we thank you in advance for your partnership. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Beverly. Are there any questions, comments, or thoughts for Ms. Beverly?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Councilman
Yeah,
Katz.
I have a quick question. About 2 or 3 years ago, you all issued a report about human trafficking, and I was shocked to hear the county having a problem. Since it was 2 or 3 or 4 years ago, has anything happened to address this issue in the county since then? I mean,
In the county?
yeah.
I'm not aware. I don't know, Roz. would be able to speak best to that.
Okay.
CEUs approved through the Maryland Institute of Emergency Medical Services, and we have actually completed the first 2 trainings with 2 more upcoming so far.
I mean, I remember in the report, they actually named some of the hotels where it's a problem in the county. I assume that that information was given to the police, and I assume that those issues are being addressed?
Yes, they are, and they are actually part of the human trafficking work group includes
Good.
police and many other, it's a jurisdictional.
Yeah.
So yes, they are being addressed, and they know which hotels are the problem.
Right. They had a list of them, and I was rather startled. Of course, along the 95 corridor isn't, I guess, much of a surprise, but, and Towson was shocking to me, actually, so.
Unfortunately, it's everywhere, and until we can get the general public to be aware of signs and things to look for and how to report, I think we're going to continue to have a problem. I think we need to bring it down to a lower level and bring it out to the community as well.
I can remember when the legislature addressed child abuse and gave teachers the responsibility of identifying, and we took training in that regard. So I think it is really very worthwhile to bring it down so that people can understand and see the signs. And, when they see the signs, who do they report it to? What do they do? Very important. I thank you for your work. Thank you very much.
For the record, that is Vice Chair of the Commission for Women, Rosalind Berkowitz, who sits on the Domestic Violence Task Force for the county. But some of what you're talking about will hopefully also be addressed through the bill that we talked about, HB 148, the See Someone, Save Someone Act, which will help to provide that training and to share some information with people so that they know where the information should go when they see the signs. But thank you very much for your time.
Councilman Jones?
Yeah, I just wanted to. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Councilman Catch. I did have a statement I wanted to make. Since the last meeting, I had a constituent call me, and she wanted to tell me about a situation that she thought there was some human trafficking taking place. And my first question to her was, did you call the police? And she gave me these 800 numbers she had called, these federal numbers she had called, but I was shocked that she had not called the Baltimore County Police. So my question is, or my statement would be, if you think there's human trafficking, your number one call is to the Baltimore County Police. And if you want to call all the other 800 numbers that goes to a national, a hotline, that's fine. But if you think there's human trafficking taking place and you spot it, we want your first call to be to the Baltimore County Police. Because in this case, the woman did not call the Baltimore County Police. She called these 800 numbers, and then she called me. So that's my thought for the moment.
Thank you, Councilman Jones. Let me just also state for the record that Ms. Berkowitz is a resident of the beautiful 2nd District of Baltimore County. Ms. Beverly, one other question. When I worked for state government, both myself and County Administrative Officer Rogers, we both helped to staff the State Commission for Women. And I guess my question is, what relationship is there between the local jurisdictions Commission for Women and the State Commission for Women?
Yes, we are in communication with the State Commission, especially around this time of the session and when there are joint initiatives. So we are in communication with them, but it could always be stronger.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Beverly.
Thank you.
And Ms. Belcastro, next speaker, please.
Certainly. Our next guest is Sabrina Jones.
Okay, Ms. Jones. Okay, thank you, Ms. Jones. Ms. Belcastro, do we have any additional speakers for this evening?
No, Mr. Chair.
Well, thanks, everyone, for coming out tonight. It was really an informative meeting this evening. Thanks, everybody.